Everybody involved with the making of this fight said this fight does not happen unless you are the one that's pushing for it. Instead, you're jumping right in with the man that people believe is one of the top fighters in any weight class and all the boxes. The question I have is why? Why were you so insistent on making this fight happen?
So it's a unification fight. That was a legacy fight. I had to say yes. If I was gonna say yes, I would have hung up the gloves. You know, that was only two options: either hang up the gloves or take that fight.
You think you do better than him?
I think like I said before, I think he's a solid fighter. You know, a good fighter. Yeah, he champion for a reason. You know, but I think I do everything better. You know, all around the board, I do everything. I can box, I can bang.
Yeah, I do worry about it, but it's not even worth worrying about it because if it happens, it happens. I gotta stick on it and continue to work hard and continue to do this or that, and everything will work out.
And like I said before, I would have fought them same two guys he just fought. The whole world would be bashing me. Yeah. For sure. That's how you know I'm at a different level. And I'm gonna show them there's really levels to this boxing game. Like I said, yeah, a solid fighter for sure. Getting better, but I'm gonna just be too much for him. All this is gonna be too much for him.
Jaron Ennis and Sebastian Fundora just turned their face-off into a war of words, and the tension between these two champions was impossible to ignore.
You're levels above him. You're levels above the guys that he's fought before.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Why do you think that?
I've been there with, you know, top guys already, and I've been at the level, you know, for a while now. So I know what it takes, you know, to be here, and it's different up here, you know. And like I said, I'm glad he took the fight. And like I said, he gonna see. I don't really got too much to say, for real. If he make any mistakes, he gonna pay for sure.
I look at the shoulders and I look at the feet, because the shoulders, you're gonna see where the first react. This is where it first starts, so you're gonna see where it comes from, and then the feet, whether they're stepping in or they're stepping out. It gives you more time before. You're not gonna look at the bullet. Someone has a gun, you're not gonna look at the bullet while it's right in front of you. It's too late already. The punch, if you're looking at the fist and the fist is right in your face, it's already too late. I'm gonna look at the gun, or I'm gonna look at the hand movement before he even pulls it out. You gotta be able to read the predictions, you know.
Stepping into the conversation, Claressa Shields has warned Jaron Ennis about the mistakes he has been making, stressing they will not be tolerated against Fundora.
Boots his due. Right now, at 154, he is the man. And a big challenge for him will be Fundora. Fundora is a big challenge for anybody because of how long he is in his height. But Boots has enough in his arsenal, I feel, to beat Fundora, but he got to be very, very smart. He can't make the same mistake he made getting hit with that straight jab and that right against Zayas that he can't do that with Fundora. Cannot, will not, cannot do that. And also cannot do that while a little wobbling on the legs either. So that's the only thing he did wrong to me was fighting after that. Like him fighting on wobbly legs, to move around, jab, whatever. Be smart. So to me, he got an A+. It is Boots' era.
Sharing his thoughts, Teddy Atlas also highlighted how powerful and tricky Fundora can be, insisting Boots must be extremely careful when facing him.
I mean, he's learning how to fight tall a little bit better. He is, a little better. But still, he is coming after you behind that jab. He doesn't stop. I don't know what his punch numbers are. They got to go through the roof. As soon as I think he jabs in his sleep. I think that he's, like if you went in and you peeked in on him when he's sleeping like this with that southpaw jab. The jab, he's coming out of the locker room. I think when he's eating dinner. He never stops. He don't leave you alone. And he's coming forward. He's always putting pressure. He's breaking you down. And then he puts punches together nice. He goes to the body. He throws uppercuts. You know, he puts them together real well. But he's tall and he's a target.
Giving his analysis, Sean Porter highlighted how this matchup looks evenly matched on paper, with both fighters bringing elite skills and serious advantages.
It's like, you see, and we'll use Jamie Foxx as an example. That's my guy. So let's say Fox is one thing on screen, and then off screen, he's a completely different person. You just don't know, you know. So on screen, Boots looks like he's supposed to beat Sebastian Fundora because he's so fast, because he's so electric, because he's shown tremendous power, because he's shown so many different movements and techniques, and everything jumps off the screen when it's Boots Ennis. But then when you got, like I always like to say, another weapon standing across from you, negating some of the things you do, forcing you to turn off some of the stuff you do.
Furthermore, Porter insists he finds Fundora's approach much more dangerous than Boots. In his view, Boots is the kind of fighter whose game plan is difficult to read, while his energy and fire make him exciting to watch. But when it comes to Fundora, Porter believes he always enters with a carefully adjusted game plan built around the opponent standing across from him.
Now, here's the thing that makes this guy dangerous to Boots. What I feel I know about Boots, I don't know if they game plan. To me, it seems like Boots is like, and Dad Bozy, we just gonna get you ready. Can't nobody beat you. Well, sometimes you gotta get ready for the guy across from you. And what I now know about this dude, he getting ready for who's across from him. And that's why I'm breathing like that, because I know without a shadow of a doubt, he's going to be ready. He's going to have the right weapons, and he's going to be calling on the right weapons all night long. I have no doubt about that from this dude right here. And I know with all 16 plus weapons that Boots got, Boots be like this.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta, nah, bruh. With this one right here.
Without picking a winner, Porter insists both fighters have their own advantages and hidden weapons ready to explode at any moment. However, according to him, what he has noticed in Fundora is exactly what makes the matchup dangerous for Boots. His ability to create problems, adjust under pressure, and bring something unexpected could force Boots to fight a completely different battle.
To me, that's the difference between a Boots Ennis and a Sebastian Fundora. I don't know who will win that fight, because all those weapons are amazing.
Yeah.
And at any point, any of those weapons could work against this dude. But this guy has the ability that I now know. He knows how to force you to turn off a lot of what you have. So I don't know. I don't know
your
who wins
point
that
about
fight.
off screen and on screen. Yeah, you'll watch it. That's what Keith did. Keith studied this dude front to back. He told us a week ago.
Yeah.
He knew everything about him.
Yeah.
But like your point, off screen and on screen. Then in person, you go, once it's fight night and he's across from you and throwing 60 punches, you go,
Yeah.
that motherfucker is really tall.
Yeah.
He's really big.
And
it's different.
Joining the conversation, Bernie the Boxer highlighted Fundora's skills and dangerous style, while backing Boots to stay focused and get the job done. He believes Boots has the ability to handle the challenge, but cannot afford to underestimate what Fundora brings into the ring. For Bernie, discipline, patience, and smart decision-making will be crucial if Boots wants to secure the victory.
I'm thinking Boots should get him. I'm thinking, if, you know, because Fundora more like, he kind of robotic, you know? And if you got a guy that can flash in on you and can move with athleticism, that can throw him up, I think Boots, that'll be perfect for him. You know, I think they've been moving him a little cautious, but I'm thinking he got it to do it. I'm looking for Boots to do it. I be looking for Boots. If I'm Boots, if I don't get the Xander Zayas fight, I want him next. Give me a tune-up, then give me Fundora next.
That's what Roy was saying, that he wants the winner for Sebastian Fundora, the winner of Boots and Zayas. Look like we're going to get Boots and Zayas in the summertime.
That's great.
How you expect that fight to go?
Like I say, this is a good fight with top junior middleweights.
Breaking it down, Bernie highlighted some weaknesses in Fundora's style and offered advice on how he can improve. He believes that if Fundora makes those adjustments, he could become a much more entertaining and effective fighter against Boots. According to Bernie, sharper movement, better timing, and more calculated attacks could help Fundora create greater problems while making the matchup even more exciting.
It's a good fight. Good fights. Both of them, I think, like I say, everybody gonna favor Boots, but Xander it's a live fight.
What makes Sebastian so dangerous? When you watch him with all the boxing acumen that you have, what are some of the things that jump out at you that just make you feel like, damn, dude, this is a bad matchup for a lot of people?
His range, but he looked slow. He looked pretty slow, but I seen him he throw a real slow jab, then he throw a fast jab. So I think when he started putting more jabs on him and woke up a little bit, you know, that's when he started to do better. But his jab, I like to see him show a little bit more speed, but I don't know at them dimensions. Can he put it? He did a little better.
What do you think about his level of accuracy tonight?
Yeah, good.
Sharing his thoughts on the potential matchup, Bomax sees the matchup between Jaron Boots Ennis and Sebastian Fundora as a true 50-50 fight. Fundora's height and range give him a unique advantage, while Boots has the ability and talent to match up with anyone in the division. With both fighters still proving themselves against the best, Bomax sees no clear favorite between them.
Yeah. I ain't gonna really call it the Boots era. I just think he's a great fighter in the era with other guys that can say this was my era.
You know, with that, I know like there's the Fundoras and Virgils, like they all have to fight each other to even come to that conclusion. I mean, is that amongst those guys, is there someone stand out a little bit more, or is it still kind of 50-50 across?
I think it's a 50-50 across the board, you know, because when you look at Virgil and when he get guys hurt, like maybe Boots was hurt, you know, he finished them off. You look at Fundora with the range and the height he got, you know, even though he'd been beat before, since then he's just been cleaning them up.
Putting even more heat on the matchup, Greg Hackett made a shocking claim about Jaron Ennis versus Sebastian Fundora, questioning whether Fundora is truly ready for the challenge. He focused on the weight at which Fundora will face Boots, arguing that at 154 pounds, Sebastian may not yet be prepared for this level of competition. Hackett believes the weight could expose serious problems when the pressure rises.
I don't think it's going to happen at 154. I think it's going to happen at 60. Why? I don't think Fundora wants that trouble at 54. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's so sure of himself. I think it's going to take him a couple of years mentally to be really sure of himself. He talk a good game. He do. When he do his interviews, he talk a hell of a game. 30 seconds. He talk a hell of a game, but I don't think this is just me off of my observation. I don't think he's pleased with himself just yet to say he's gonna fight Boots after this fight. I don't think so.
If Boots goes into the fight with Josh Kelly, victorious, wouldn't that put more added pressure on Fundora?
It would, but you know, these dudes come out with moves all the time. We see new moves every year. Switch.
Comparing the matchup stylistically, Greg Hackett explained how he sees the fight unfolding while addressing the criticism surrounding Boots. He pointed to what happened in the third round against Zayas, warning that if Fundora catches Boots with a similar shot, the consequences could be devastating. Hackett believes Fundora's size, pressure, and awkward style could punish any defensive mistake and completely change the fight.
When a tiger go after a giraffe, and they be working him out, and even though he's tall, he be trying little shit, be doing little shit, but it's just hard to get the motherfuckers off. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be like a tiger and a giraffe, one of them times. Like once Boots get him, he's gonna get him.
Now you got some analysts that feel like because of the third round against Xander Zayas, that if Fundora gets him in that position, then Fundora will end up hurting or stopping Boots.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
I mean, that's a fight of the past at this point. That's like me saying since Mendoza clipped Fundora in the 7th round, that's like me saying Boots will do the same thing.
Paulie Malignaggi believes Boots Ennis has looked impressive every time out, which is why expectations around him continue to rise. He says Boots needs to keep performing at that level as he moves toward bigger challenges. And for Paulie, a potential clash with Sebastian Fundora would be a tough, highly competitive fight for both men.
Kelly, because again, Ennis looks terrific every time he's fought, and so that's why he is this budding star. But when you are a budding star, there's also so much expectation for you to look good every single time out. So we'd have to make sure that Ennis stays consistently looking really great so that he can move on into the picture with Fundora possibly. And Fundora, of course, is a very difficult guy to deal with. Listen, Fundora is going to be difficult to deal with for anybody. And so Ennis and Fundora, I really, really would get excited for Ennis and Fundora. That's a really good fight. And for me, that's not an easy fight for either of them. That's a tough fight to call, man. I don't know. I would love to know what some of the comments think at home. And don't be biased about just because one guy you like one guy over the other. I'm talking about seriously, from a boxing perspective, Ennis and Fundora. Listen, Fundora is an awkward fight for anybody because of the height and the power that he's got at that weight. But
when it comes to Sebastian Fundora, Chris Algieri sees a fighter who has become an extremely difficult puzzle to solve. What stands out most is how Fundora has learned to use his length, work behind his jab, and fight with much more discipline. After making those adjustments, Fundora has become far more difficult to hit and a much tougher opponent to deal with.
Fundora is such a difficult puzzle. He's so long, and he's getting better. He's improving. He's improving. He's learning how to use his size. He's using his jab. He's being more disciplined. He's not taking risks like he used to. Talk about a guy who used to allow people to hit him and then has figured out that you shouldn't do that at the highest level in that Brian Mendoza fight. But since then, he's been very, very good. So, yeah, I can understand why people would see him as the final guy because, again, with those physical physical advantages and the way that he's getting better, very, very difficult to deal with. Virgil, the inactivity really worries me because you got sharks circling. And Jaron, with the level of talent he has, he can beat anybody on any given night. So, yeah, it's a really interesting time.
Fueling the anticipation, Chris Mannix praised Team Ortiz for remaining prepared and training as though the showdown with Boots is already locked in. He sees that approach as proof of their commitment to making the fight happen. With fans and voices throughout boxing demanding this matchup, Mannix believes the sport would be missing something special if this highly anticipated clash never becomes a reality.
Into shots, especially if you're buzzed. So when it does happen, hold on. It's going to be explosive. Someone's going to get knocked out. And I always pick a side, right, Mannix? I always say, oh, well, this guy's going to be the favorite. That's a legitimate 50-50 fight.
All right, then should it happen next? Because in the days that followed that fight, we have heard from Oscar De La Hoya calling for Boots versus Virgil next. We have heard from Virgil calling for Boots against Virgil next. We have heard from Rick Meridian calling for Boots against Virgil next. Pretty much everybody that's in the orbit of Virgil Ortiz, including Virgil Ortiz, Robert Garcia, add him to that mix. The trainer of Virgil says, let's make that fight next. Everybody on Virgil's side seems like they're ready to go. So my question for you is...
Joining the debate, Sebastian Fundora offered his prediction, saying he expects Ortiz to face Boots before he gets his own opportunity. Fundora strongly favors Ortiz, pointing to the openings Boots displayed against Xander Zayas. He believes Ortiz can exploit those weaknesses with constant pressure, disciplined attacks, and a high work rate, potentially doing enough across the rounds to win the judges' scorecards.
I think Virgil wins that fight. We saw some flaws from Boots with the last fight. I mean, he looked great. I mean, he beat Zayas. I mean, pretty easy. But that third round still raises some questions, right? I mean, it raised everybody some questions. How does he do with pressure? Virgil is a pressure fighter, and he hits hard. I consider myself also a pressure fighter. He throws a lot of punches and hits hard. So we'll see what happens when he fights one of us. I mean, I guess Virgil's first. So we'll see what happens with that, but I favor Virgil.
Well, I actually meant your deepest thoughts about them as opponents for yourself than each other.
Oh, yeah. I'll beat them both. As simple as that, I'll beat them both.
Max Kellerman sets a high bar for Jaron Boots Ennis at 154, saying his talent puts him in a different category from the rest of the division. He feels there isn't another fighter at that level who should stand in Boots' way, and if Boots reaches his full potential, Kellerman expects him to clean out the division.
What I think he can be, he's got to clean these guys up at 54. There's nothing at 54 that's like, oh my God. That's like, for example, when Shane Mosley moved up to welterweight, Oscar De La Hoya in his prime is standing there. There's no one like that at 54. The only guy who has a chance to be like that is Boots. That's the dude who's supposed to do it. And if you're a super fighter and you're in a division with really good fighters, all divisions have good fighters, but regular good fighters, you're supposed to clean those guys up.
Yeah, because of the talent that he has.
Yes.
When Robert Garcia looks at a potential Boots Ennis versus Sebastian Fundora matchup, he sees a difficult stylistic challenge for Boots. Garcia favors Fundora because of how much he has improved, but says a relentless pressure fighter who attacks the body could give him problems. While Boots has the speed and footwork to make it competitive, Garcia doesn't see him as the type of brawler who would simply push Fundora backwards.
But he was also at a point where he stunned Woods. Yeah. He landed some good punches. Made it the 7 rounds that the fight lasted was enough to maybe say it's fight of the year. Round 3, maybe round of the year. So, we still have 6 more months of the year, so we don't know what's going to happen. But as of right now, I think it's going to be hard to beat that. Both Boots and Zayas both came to fight and show the world that that's what boxing needs. So respects to both of them. But I also was there because I have a fighter, Virgil, who could compete against these guys. So I was also there to see that, and I see a lot of things that I know we could do in a fight against somebody like Boots.
Yeah. With the major title fights at 154 already starting to fall into place, Robert Garcia believes Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz Jr. should turn their attention toward each other. He feels the fight needs to happen already, especially with Ortiz pushing to become a full world champion, and most of the other title opportunities already tied up.
100% agree with Virgil. I think if Virgil is able to, fight Boots and we were able to get
those punches, I think it's over. I think Virgil is not going to hold back. Virgil has great, insane power at 154. So I think Virgil will finish him.
Yeah. Where does Ennis line up now in terms of I guess the pound for pound list, and based off that performance, how good is he?
Well, look, I think I guess it depends on who you ask. Pound for me is a fighter that shows great skills, obviously, against the opponents that they're beating and the way they're beating them. Fighters that are in pound for pound list, you got to show that you belong there. You got to defend that position too.
Boots appears focused on a different path, showing greater interest in facing Fundora rather than Ortiz. Frustrated by the endless questions surrounding his future, Ennis made it clear that Fundora or Kelly could be next. Still, his bigger ambition remains unchanged. He wants to collect world titles, establish himself at the top, and continue building a reputation as one of the division's most dominant forces.
Who is it going to take to bring it out of you?
I feel like the better the fighter is, the better I'm gonna be. The sharper I'm gonna be. So, I'm here to collect these belts, and I want to be undisputed at 154, and I will be undisputed at 154. I ain't get to do it at 47. So the next best thing is the Fundora or Kelly. And I feel like everybody want to see me and Fundora because he's a tall test.
Yeah, I love the Fundora fight. I think that's probably my favorite fight for you that's available right now. Sounds like he might be doing his mandatory next. And then, of course, we have Josh Kelly. But look, Virgil Ortiz, we know you already accepted that fight back in April, and then his court issues with Golden Boy prevented the fight from happening. Are you getting a little tired of the situation now? Because I know you're asked about it everywhere you go.
Yeah, everybody asks me about it all the time. I did my part,
The tension is rising, the warnings are getting louder, and now the biggest question is, who really has the edge when Boots finally meets Fundora? Will size and pressure overwhelm Boots, or will his speed and skill take control? Drop your prediction in the comments, and subscribe for more boxing news, breakdowns, and fight updates.